I spent 30 years of my life in darkness. Not the kind of darkness you see at night, but the kind that lives in the heart. I was consumed by fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of people I never took the time to understand. And that fear turned into something even more dangerous. Hatred. For 30 years, I hated Muslims. Not because I knew them, but because I didn't know them. I hated what I was told to hate. I believed what I was taught to believe. And I never once questioned if any of it was true. Until one day, one man, a Muslim, saved my life. And that day shattered everything. Let me take you back to where it began. I was raised in a small town where people looked like me, talked like me, prayed like me. Difference wasn't welcome. It was feared. And like many people, I was shaped by my environment. By the media. By the headlines. By voices that shouted louder than truth. I learned to associate Islam with terrorism, Muslims with violence, mosques with danger. And with every news report, with every conversation at the dinner table, the hate grew. I never met a Muslim. I never read the Quran. But that didn't matter. I had already made up my mind. And isn't that how hate works? It thrives in ignorance. It feeds on distance. It survives where there is no understanding. But life has a way of forcing you to confront the lies you've believed for too long. A few years ago, I was on a business trip. Long drive, bad weather, late at night. I lost control of my car on a slippery road. The crash was brutal. My car flipped and landed in a ditch. I was trapped, bleeding, losing consciousness. And then, a man appeared. He broke the window, dragged me out, called for help, stayed with me until the ambulance came. He risked his life, for me. A complete stranger. I was in and out of awareness, but I remember one thing clearly. His last words before the medics took me. "You'll be okay, brother. May Allah give you strength." He was a Muslim. The very kind of man I had spent my life hating. That moment shattered everything I thought I knew. Because how could someone I was told to hate show me such compassion? How could the enemy save my life? Middle, deep, thoughtful tone. When I recovered, I couldn't forget that moment. It haunted me. Not in a bad way, but in a way that forced me to reflect. I began to question everything. I started reading. Not the headlines. Not the angry tweets. But actual Islamic teachings. The Quran. The life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The stories of Muslim scholars, scientists, and poets. The beauty of prayer, of discipline, of charity, of kindness. And for the first time, I saw something I had been blind to my entire life. Islam wasn't the problem. Ignorance was. I learned about peace, the very root word of Islam. I learned about mercy, a core value in everything the Prophet taught. I learned about unity, justice, patience, and forgiveness. And slowly, the walls I had built in my heart began to crumble. I met more Muslims. And with each conversation, I discovered something deeper. Not only were they not my enemies, they were some of the kindest, most sincere people I had ever met. And I started asking myself, how did I get it so wrong for so long? Why did I choose hate when I could have chosen understanding? That man, the one who saved my life, he never came looking for thanks. He never even told me his name. But he gave me something far greater than help in a crisis. He gave me truth. He gave me a second chance to see with my heart, not just my eyes. C.S. Lewis once said, "You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending." And that's exactly what I did. I couldn't change the years I spent in ignorance. But I could change the path I was on. I chose to replace hate with humility, prejudice with perspective, and division with dialogue. And now I speak, not to condemn who I was, but to help others break free from the same prison of ignorance. Because hate doesn't just harm the ones we hate. It destroys the one who carries it. If you're watching this, and you've ever been taught to fear others based on their religion, their race, or where they come from, I ask you, when was the last time you truly listened? When was the last time you tried to understand before you judged? There is beauty in every human being. There is wisdom in every culture. There is truth in every heart that seeks it. And sometimes, the very people you're taught to fear are the ones who will show you the greatest humanity. I lived 30 years in hate. But all it took was one moment of love to change everything. And if it can happen to me, it can happen to you. Open your mind. Open your heart. And don't let fear steal the truth from you. Because the greatest journey you'll ever take is not across borders. It's across the barriers inside your own soul. ***. Let that journey begin today.